Hi guys, I want to show you what I've been doing lately. Been kind of busy picking up stuff. I made a deal with a place that I got the other equipment from that I showed you on the last video here a few videos back, where I had said I had some stuff to future projects and stuff. You know, the oscilloscope and the spectrum analyzer and so on. Well, I made a deal with them, and I thought I'd show you some of the stuff that I've gotten. This amounts to about 3 carloads of stuff, but this ain't all of it. I got more in the garage and stuff, but this is what I got inside. So anyway, without further ado, we'll start at one side here and kind of work our way around, and let you kind of zoom in on this and get it in here. Maybe drop the thing down just a little bit. There we go. Now, what's in here, and I'm going to move the camera just a little bit closer. We're on a tripod, so don't mind the jerkiness. Is a bunch of transformers. It's not all of them. There's a few more still out in the garage. This guy right here is a brand new power transformer here at Triad. I've got another one about that size, or a little bit bigger. It's a used one. There's various different transformers in this thing, plus some handles, metal handles, and brand new audio transformer in here, and like power transformers, audio transformers, interstage transformers, some chokes. So a lot of stuff in that drawer. And then we move over to here, and we're going to try to kind of work the camera around here as we go and bring that in just a little bit better. There are lots and lots and lots of stuff in here. We get first sight at some meters. On the side there, we have plate and grid cap leads, just a whole drawer full of them, porcelain type. There's some knobs and other mixed stuff in here. Got several ceramic caps, more in here. Some high voltage caps and other ceramic caps in there. Knobs. Controls. This one here is a bunch of bridge rectifiers. You know, like this one here is the same thing as this, except they use the bottom down here as the can is part of one of the ground. But we got a bunch of them in here. And let's see what else. Some more ceramics down the bottom there. Some domino micas. This little deal here is a high voltage, high tension tripler. That's for the Tektronix scope. This is a spare one here. So that's what's, you got the flyback transformer and several caps, and these are diodes, tubes, high voltage rectifier tubes, and more caps in there. So it's a tripler actually is what it is. And some odds and ends there, and then meters and more meters. And whole box load of various meters, amp meters, volt meters, milliamp, regular amperage. And that's just the beginning of them. Now as we move around in our drawer here, and I'm going to try to come in a little closer. this one has some controls. There's a triple set. Here I got 3 of these. They're all in the, I think, around 500 ohm range. These are new. They've never been put in circuit. There's 3. I got 3 of these sets in here. Multi-controls. A big heavy-duty switch. 3-position switch. I don't know what its rating is, but 30 amps at 300 volts. If I can't tell if that's zoomed in or not, or focusing in. But I like this AC meter. That's quite large. And meter movements out of other meters. It's got AC and DC volts and ohms on it. I don't know what that came out of. Lots of other meters in there. We got this nice one here that's up to 5 amps. This is DC milliamperes. So hopefully it's not too blurry. It's kind of hard for me to see here. And then, oh yeah, lovely. Back it out. There we go. There we go. And in this crate, there's still a bunch more meters in there. A lot of them in boxes. One of the neat ones in here, if I can get over there to it. I'll show you it here in a minute. And it's quite old. But we got a lot of Simpson meters. Let's see where I'm at here. Okay. Yeah. Simpsons, General Electric. A couple 3 Simpsons in here, but the best one is the one down at the bottom down here. Hopefully that's trying to focus in. Anyway, it says amperes DC. Goes up to 10 amps. This thing is very old. This is cast iron that sets in. And I kind of brushed over them a little bit, but we ended up with, I didn't get them all from the place because he had them stored somewhere else, but I got 4 of the writer's service manuals for radio. He's got the entire set, all 23 volumes. So I think we got 4 of them here. Now let's see, let's move on. And well, let's start closest, it'll be easier. So let me kind of move you around here. Now what this is a Heath kit. impedance bridge. It'll measure capacitance, inductance, resistance, and then also any combination thereof. So you can actually measure just total impedance with it. You just hook your connectors up there. It has an internal generator in it, or you can run an external generator. And instead of using the internal if you want. And so it's going to be nice and handy. And I'll move it out of the way so we can move on. Now, let's see. What we got here is another Simpson 260 with the manual, VOM. It comes with the manual, although really the manual is for Series 3 and this is Series 6, but they're close, fairly close. And then the other thing here is a Monarch resistance capacitance substitution box. It's a little faded, but you can measure capacitance on this side from about 500 picofarad all the way up, or not measure, but actually introduce it in the circuit, and go clear up to 40 microfarad. Resistance, it'll go from 25 ohms up to 10 meg. What's nice about these is if you're trying to work on something or build something, and you can hook one of these up in there into a place where you want to put a resistor, you need to kind of size it, or a capacitor and size it. You can just flip through and it'll give you different readings, or it'll give you different resistance or capacitance as you flip through, and until you get the thing where you want it. So let's say you're replacing a rectifier, selenium rectifier in a radio or TV, and you're going to replace it with a silicon, and you're worried about the B plus, and so you want to get an exacting on it, you could actually hook something like this in there and work it through until your B plus is exactly where it should be, by just simply flipping through and then read off what you got, and then get a resistor for that size. Right next to it is, I believe, is a die grinder. Not sure. It's quite old. It's precise. Has a, probably can't see that, but you put your bit in here and lock her down and turn it on and off. But this thing is quite old, but it reminds me of like a die grinder or something of that nature. So as we move on, some more test equipment. I'm gonna lock this and move up. Now the first thing right there, right in the center of the screen, is, it's actually a power supply for a piece of equipment. Regulated power supply, but it puts out 300 volts at up to 70 milliamps, and also there's a tap on there for 6.3 volts as well, for up to 4 amps. So anyway, what I thought I'd do with it is use it for just playing around with as a bench power supply. It's not variable, but I could rig up a rheostat or something on there. I got some pretty healthy wattage-wise rheostats that I could use on it, or build a bridge or a voltage divider bridge and hook on it too. The next thing next to it is an Olson capacitor tester. It's for in-circuit. Now it's got a eye tube at the top here, and you can check for either short or open, or anything above 2 microfarads up to 40 or 400 microfarads. You can, check for value. But smaller capacitance, they'll check either short or open. The nice thing about it, it'll do it in circuit. And the guy next to it is a voltage calibrator. It puts out voltage on the output there that you can use to calibrate circuits and stuff, or calibrate test equipment as well. And so you can set this to varying different voltages. The bottom number is the range selector, which goes to calibrate, and then 0.01 volt times whatever the scale at the top is, and then 0.1, and then 1, and then 10. So it'll go from say about 0.01 volts all the way up to 100 volts maximum. The next low meter is an RCA WV77A. It looks like, well, it's basically a junior volt but this is the first one that they came out with. Most of them that you see on eBay or see a lot of people have is the 77E, revision E. This is revision A. Some of the big differences is on the E, and I should have brought one out, but you got 3 jacks here, banana jacks, to plug into. One's common, the other 2, one's for AC and the other one's for DC. AC ohms, and then the last one's for DC. This uses the older style ground. I cut the ground off because it was all ratty and bad. But there's ground here, and then on here you got your Amphenol connector, mic connector on there for your test leads. In fact, it came with the test lead, which is over with the test leads right now that I got. But there's the lead for it, and there's your connector. It screws on down there, and it needs some work, but it needs a new power cord. It was a good 50% of the insulation was gone on it, and the ground lead coming out there had almost 70% gone. So, and then the guy next to it is a little audio generator. Well, it's not really, it works in the audio range, but it'll go up to 1 megacycle, or 1 megahertz, and down to basically almost DC, down nearly 0. Several different bands and ranges. Made by a company named Waveforms. It's a model 510S. They just call it an oscillator. It works only on the highest range, so it's going to need some attention done to it. Now we'll move some more stuff out of the way, and we'll get further back here. Zoom out just a little bit. There we go. Now this is a Hewlett-Packard 5254L electronic counter. Basically, it'll count stuff, or it'll act as a frequency counter as well. As a standalone unit, minus this little side piece here, this normally, this is an option. Minus this thing will run up to 50 megahertz and read off. This will take it on up to 500 megahertz. It's got I believe it's 8 Nixie tube readout on it. So right now I got to rig up some sort of adapter for the plug. It's a recessed special looking plug that's on it. But I imagine it probably works just fine. It's all solid state. There's no, other than the Nixie tubes, there's no other tubes in it. So anyway, we're going to back up here a little bit and look at some other stuff. So here we go. Now at the top, next to that generator, there was a couple soldering irons. One's a Weller, and the other one's a Win. I think they're both like 100 watt or 120 watt. And then below that, we have a thermometer, a digital thermometer, infrared thermometer. So, and it works. So, and then as we go down, we come into some older stuff. All four of these are Weston. This one's probably the oldest. And I gotta look here and see if I'm gonna be in the camera. Yeah, I think I will be. This is an amp meter that reads anywhere from full scale 2.5, 5, or 25, depending on which leg you hook onto. And it's quite old. I imagine this dates back into the very early 20s anyway. It's Bakelite base. This is all metal here, and then Bakelite here. This one is a little newer, 10 and 50 amperes AC. This is DC. This little meter, another little amp meter, or voltmeter, volts AC, 15 and 150 volts, depending on high or low, what you hook it onto. I like the color of it. It's pretty old Weston, all Bakelite except for the back plate. Nice little leather case. The only thing wrong with the case is the snaps have tore out of the case. And then we got this one here, and get it open. We open it up. It's got a nice little case, and it's just like, I think I showed the other one. I got another one like it. I think he bought it for parts. Little Weston ohm meter. And it's got all the directions for use on the back. Basically, you use it with like between here and here, or flip this and put them combined to get different the different levels on here, different readings. And it came with, although the wire insulation's bad, but so come out, it came with the leads. There we go. So we got the leads. The insulation's kind of not the best in the world. Really nice little case. Got nice little felt like stuff in there. Even comes with I had a lock. I didn't get the key. Then we got good old-fashioned knife switch. Then we got these. This is new old stock. And for those who don't know what they are, these go in the center of 45 records. They have the big hole, so that then you can put them on any turntable It's just got the standard spindle. That way they'll just fit on there. 6 for 25 cents. They've never been opened. I wish it still had the rest of the card, but it evidently been tore off. And we got strain relief, the clamp type, some large ones, some small ones. Different various sizes. Whole baggie full. So now coming back to center here before we go on. Kind of move back here a little bit. This here, I've been finding parts in the stuff, but is out of a Tektronix scope. It's like the other one I showed you, but this is for one of the big ones, like the 500 series scopes, dual trace, but this is the high voltage doubler, a tripler actually. So you can see it's quite a bit more massive in size, but I have been finding bits and pieces in some of the stuff, which I make the assumption that either he was tearing it apart for parts, he had another one, the guy that basically had owned this stuff, or he had tore it completely apart and was planning on completely putting it back together. I don't know, because this is just what I'm showing you today is just dropping the bucket, and we'll keep on here in a minute. But where I'm getting this stuff from is a guy who's selling it for him, and there's a heck of a lot more. This is just really nothing. So a lot more stuff yet to come, and I made a deal for all of it. So anyway, we're gonna move on here. I'm watching my time because, excuse me, since this is actually a regular still camera instead of a digital still camera, not really a video camera, it only runs like 29 minutes per run. So I'm down to 1 minute 11 seconds yet to go. I think I'm going to pause it and refire it up again. They'll reset the clock. Okay, alright, now it's reset. So what we got next here is some microphones. This would be the newest, is Sanyo, and here, and then we've got a much older mic here. It slips right off the base. Electro Voice, a model 727 ceramic, and it's got a nice little switch on it. Turn it off or on. And then we've got a couple old mics. These were from World War II, used in Army, Navy, and Air Force, or Army Air Corps use these. This one's kind of a little different. Both the same models, but this is just silver metal, where this is painted black. It is missing the plastic part of the button, but it could still be used. But they'd hang these up. That's what the hook's for. When they're ready to talk, they use it. It also has a little different pattern in here, so I'm sure they're probably a little bit different age stuff. And for about the same period of time, we got the headphones. So right there. Now moving on, I'll move this stuff out of the way, and we'll move on here. Sorry about the shakiness. Okay. Got a bunch of various mic ends and headphone ends. Got the different types of bayonets and stuff, and adapters for the miniatures and stuff. A whole bunch of those, along with of course a Balun. Then above that is a whole bunch of different types, different things to hook up onto your oscilloscope, and you can hook different plug-on test leads or whatever else onto these. This thing is literally full of those, plus ones that just got alligator clips on them. And well, that should be in here. Good down here. So this box is literally pretty well full of those. Then over here we've got alligator clips and male and female deals for the bananas, jacks, and a bunch of stuff there. Then this box up here that I'm centered on now, that is all BNC stuff. Anywhere from the females that you put in equipment, to ends you put on your cables, to T's and elbows, terminations, attenuators, the whole 9 yards. It's just a full box of them, of the stuff there. And then below that we have just various cables, BNC and Amphenol and the bayonet jack type test leads, and a whole bunch of wires there and cables. And then over by it, next to it, some various scope leads and other test leads, as well as leads for your RCA equipment, test equipment and stuff. And then this here is a Heathkit demodulation probe with the box and the instructions and everything. This is a B&K high voltage probe. I just got to get a wire hooked into it. It's got the it does have the high voltage resistor in it. And we've got a couple Tektronix scope probes there. Now we have some fluorescent lights. No, actually these are not. These are high voltage resistors, power resistors. This is 160 ohm, and various different sizes. I think the big ones are mostly 4,000 to 8,000 ohm, wire wound, but they're high voltage. This is the kind of deals they plug into. This is a ceramic standoff. I handle several thousand volts separation there. So they're basically in a glass tube with an inert gas in it, and that keeps any problems with arcing or anything. Then here we've got, it's just odds and ends. There's one large crystal. One thing I didn't bring out here, I got a whole probably about 40 or 50 crystals. Various other things. This here is a 259 jack male that you'd hook on the back like that radio in there, and radio I'll show you here in a minute, but then you can run the wire right in there and tighten it down. For an antenna, some really nice um, fuse holders, and I got a whole bunch of fuses, another baler in there, and some various other stuff in there. This is a crystal calibrator it's for an HP radio receiver. I don't remember the model, but you'd buy this from Knight and build it, and then actually screw it right on the back of the radio. And one way it's turned on, the other way it's not. Basically, you'd calibrate your dial, your oscillator. These two wires here, well, this is ground, and this brown one goes to the heater in the tube, and then red goes to B plus, and this is the signal out of this. It's 100 kc, kilocycles, or 100 kilohertz. Like I say, I got a whole bunch of the standoffs there. So anyway, I'm going to move back before we continue on a little bit and show you a few other little items. Start off with, up here we got a few I found anyway so far, brand new terminal strips, never been used. And then I found this plug. This is Bakelite, or a hard rubber actually, I think it is. Plug, except inside the rubber up here is Bakelite. 3-prong plug. It's never been used. It's UL listed. It's in nice condition. But I've never seen this old of a plug being 3-wire, ground. This actually does have a green screw on it. See if I can pop off the cardboard. Green for ground. So, in fact, it's actually fully color coded, like it's supposed to be. See the green there. This one here is copper or color, or you can almost say reddish. That's your hot, and the white over here, or silver, is neutral. And then, to continue on, we've got a bunch of tube shields in this. These things here, these are various different types of clamps for clamping big can capacitors in place. Whether on the chassis like these type here, or other large caps, and there's various different sizes of these, or on top of the chassis, like this one. There's a whole bunch of them there. But what was with them is these guys. Now on top is the phenolic insulated ones. Your twist locks would fasten into these. These would fasten onto the chassis. These are the insulating type, both the 3 and the 4. In other words, the big and the small. So, a full bunch of these. And then in the bottom here is the metal ones. The smaller ones, the bigger ones. Then others, these are more like, these are actually for IF cans and stuff. So a whole bunch of them. Now, some little novelty stuff. One thing, and it's bad that, of course I wouldn't even know how to hook it up. I can't find a number on it. Is this little tube. 3 wires. It's got an angle. It's got a kind of a lens here. As you can see, it's went to air. But the only tube I know of that looks like this, and it still confuses me because of the target back down here, that angled piece. Should be solid copper, unless it is on the inside, I don't know. But it's an X-ray tube. It'd be like used for something like, maybe x-raying your teeth or something. It'd be fairly low power. But since there's no number on it, other than this little bit here which says TC, I think it's TC or 1C, but that don't match up to anything. I'm not sure, but it's went there. But I thought it was just kind of nice little thing to have around. Got a couple ceramic bases, 2 bases, 4-pin and 7-pin. Really nice ceramic ones. This is a 1D21. You can read down there. Sylvania tube. This is a flasher tube. It'll flash at any speed. It's a red glow when it does light off, or it can stay on for a certain period of time. But it's actually designed to flash. Tube. And it's in good shape. Getter really looks nice on it. So I imagine it's alright. And then as far as other specialty tubes, these two here, see they got contacts in them. And this one here does too, and it's got it looks like some sort of winding there. Well, it's a filament. These are delayed relays. You supply voltage to these. This one's inside the ceramic down in here, or right here. But anyway, you supply voltage to them, and after so many seconds, it heats up the metal, which is bimetallic metal deal, and it'll bend. Now these are this one here is a 115 NO2T. So anyway, the 115 means how many seconds it takes before it switches. NO means normally open, so that means the contacts are actually open, which they're very close to each other, but they are open. I can get it to focus. And then the 115, excuse me, I got that backwards. 115 is the voltage, NO normally open, 2 is the seconds. It takes 2 seconds for it to close. Then T just for tube, because you can get these in other forms. And the other one, I believe, yeah, it's 9NO, no, wait a minute, no, 6NO, 90T. So you can't, I barely can read the number on it. But it's 6 volts, normally open, takes 90 seconds to close, and of course T, a tube. So anyway, now we'll move on. And over this way. Now there's some bunch of other stuff in there. It's mostly just standoffs and bolts and screws and stuff. Some really nice little ceramic standoffs here. So these are insulated. Screw this on, you got a ceramic insulator, and then you solder onto it. And then we got I think about 20 gauge wire, roller wire. And these 3 things up here are, and I'm gonna, in another video, I'll take the one big one apart, and well, I'll take a couple of them apart and show you how they work. But yeah, that'll be a separate video. But those 3 things are for sweeping frequency. And the way they work is, this here is an entire oscillator here, and let me kind of zoom out. So this is an entire oscillator here, so it sends out a signal here. Got leads going in here and here, and you just tune it right here. But this is what the sweep part is. You see here it says a magnet. This is actually is got a voice coil up in there, just like a speaker. Except on this one, it's hooked onto a long circular shaft, insulating shaft that's got metal at the end that feeds up inside here, and then there's another metal piece, and that makes up a capacitor. And then when you supply an AC to this, that moves back and forth just like a speaker would. It's just moving back and forth. Generally, a lot of them will sit like maybe 60 hertz. Sweep 60 hertz and move back and forth 60 times a second. And anyway, and moving back and forth, that changes that capacitance, which is hooked into the circuit, the oscillator circuit, and thus changing the total capacitance of that tank circuit, which changes the frequency. The other two sitting down there are they're just the voice coil and magnet and the capacitor. They're a little different. They got a flat plate of metal that flexes. Now, the baggie up there here is got a bunch of resistors in it, metal film, precision resistors. I think they're all the same size. Fairly, yeah, they're 0.47 ohm resistors. A whole bunch of them in a bag. These are out of something else. That was a Nixie tube counter or some sort of device. So, come in here. There we go. Got the Nixie tubes in them. There's 4 modules. And next to it is a bunch of diodes and stuff in here, special diodes in this box and stuff in it. Then we got resistors all through here. Precision resistors, power resistors, everything. Let me kind of move over a little bit, and we got all kinds of resistors, 1 watt and 2 watt, half watt here in this line. I've checked every last one of these, and these are precision resistors, a few more of those. This in here and here is all power resistors of various sizes. You got this style, and you got these style and stuff, ranging from very small wattage up to very large wattage, like these guys down here. A lot of adjustable ones. This is a 99.95 meg candy stripe, or also barber pole. You got these big adjustable ones here. These are like, I think, 100 watt. Several of those. Bunches and bunches of more down there. And these guys. I'm going to zoom back out. This was hooked into some sort of meter. If I was reckoned to say anything, it was definitely, well, high voltage, but more probably in like an insulation and an ohm meter. Insulation meters measures quite high resistance. But it starts out, this is the divider network. This one here, I believe, yeah, 200K. So we got 200K wire wound precision here. Then this guy is 2 meg, then 20 meg, then 200 meg, then 2,000 meg, 20,000 meg, and this one is 200,000 meg ohms. Now you notice these guys are in glass, and the primary purpose, well, not only to kind of keep you from touching them, but that isn't the real reason. The real reason for the glass casement is to keep the the atmosphere from affecting them, mainly the humidity. Because you get up, several thousand megs, just the slightest change in humidity is going to change how that resistor reads. And then they've got mica caps. There's 3 of them in here. They're decouplers, basically noise filters to keep noise off of it. That's these little guys here. Clear, you can see through them, clear plastic. So now we move on to some other stuff. We got lots and lots of capacitors, and I've tested all these. Most of them are all new old stock, but not that old. There's a lot of Sprague, a lot of the yellow caps, and stuff in here. But the ones I tested all these. That's in here. There's lots and lots of caps. I got a whole bunch of Spragues, and a bunch of these blue caps, and some yellow ones, and some more Spragues. These are all used caps, but I've tested every single one of them in there and they test perfect. They're not that old anyway. Then this is a cap I tested only for value. This, we'll zoom out, is a mica cap. That's what that is. It's a mica. And it's 1,000 picofarad mica, or 0.001 microfarad mica capacitor, 10,000 volts. And it'll handle 10 amps at 1 megacycle. This is ceramic in here. It's Sangamo Electric Company. So that was a healthy little sucker. And then we've got a bunch of fuses. This bag, all different fuses and stuff in here. Then we get down to this stuff. And what's down here? Well, you got the beast. This Variac. And it weighs a ton. It's 3.5 kilowatt Variac. 25 amps. So I just would never have to worry about overloading it, at least working on vintage equipment. And then we got various newer ones here, smaller ones. That one's a new one. This one's a new one. And I got 4 more in here. And a few more out in the garage and stuff. So that's just dropping the bucket. Multiply this times 100, and that's probably everything I'll eventually end up getting. Now I'm going to pause you for a minute, and we're going to go somewhere else and show you the radio I was kind of talking about. Okay, here we are. This is a World War II vintage radio, just a receiver, and actually these came in a set of 2. This one here is the upper frequency band one. There's 4 bands that range from 4 megacycles up to 27. The other one goes from 500 kilocycles in 4 bands up to 4 megacycles. So they would work in unison. They'd stack them top and bottom, and then they'd run them. That way they can cover those entire frequency bands from half a megacycle to 27 megacycles. These things are quite heavily built. These were Navy, Department of Navy. They were commissioned in 1939. They started shipping them out in 1940 at a cost of, per radio, $2,400. On top here is the power supply unit, and that's it here. Plug-ins right here. You got the cable for it. and a big heavy cable here that feeds off of here to a plug on the back. The reason for the second one is there's supposed to be a power supply per radio, but just in case something would go with wrong with one of the power supplies, one will drive in emergency both radios. They're pretty nice radios. They do work, although at least I was guaranteed that they would. You flip your bands through here, and then you just rotate it through. And you got various different controls, setting your IF and setting, of course, audio, and whether you want CW or just straight audio. You can have the selectivity on the audio here. Basically, that's just a tone switch. You unscrew these and pull the two handles, and the whole thing slides out. Same with the power supply. I've got both radios and 3 power supplies to go with them. The other radio's out in the garage. This weighs like 100 pounds. I started crying when I lifted it up on top of the freezer. I will be going into the hospital for a hernia operation later. This here weighs 52 pounds. And it was restored, at least the power supply, this one, by the Charleston Naval Shipyard on the 8th month of 1958. This one here is actually pretty low in serial number. It's serial 660, so it's a fairly early one. I haven't checked the serial number on its companion. Plus, with this, which I don't have here yet, is the parts radios for these. There's 2 more radios, and that's got some missing parts on them and stuff, but it still have a considerable number of parts, including still some tubes in them. And the deal was I'd get those too. Plus, there's a third other radio, which is like the one out in the garage, the lower band, frequency band, and a power supply with it that I'll be getting. And so, at some point, I will get this thing fired up. Usually runs on headphones, or you can run it on a speaker, either way. So, I'll probably just hook the speaker up to one of the headphone jacks I've got, and just jack it right in here. And in a future video, we'll fire this one up anyway, and see what we can pick up. So anyway, there'll be some other videos on some more stuff. Also, a lot of the other stuff that's out in the garage still. There's more boxes of stuff, a few more, and then a bunch of different wire and cable and cabling and stuff, and plugs, wire cords and stuff that you can use for, fixing up for radios and whatever. So anyway, if there's anything else you guys want to see on any of this, just let me know, and we'll do a special video just on any one particular item, and make a video of it. Okay, so now, for future notice, some people have requested some series of videos. Definitely people are wanting me to do some stuff on basics, various stuff in electronics. I also had one person that, and I will warn you ahead of time when I'm doing a video on it, especially. So there'll be some engineering videos, electronics engineering videos on tubes, tube circuits. So I'll be presenting you with some math on that. And then another person would like me to do, and I've been meaning to do it, a video on going through the TV circuits. And what I've been wanting to do is compare them to radio circuits, show you all the similarities in a TV receiver, and then show you what the other circuits are that are different that you're not going to see in a radio. and then kind of explain those a little deeper. So it'll be a whole series. So these will be coming probably this fall or a little sooner. So look forward to those. And I guess that's about it. So if you like the video and everything, give it a thumbs up. Please comment. Comment if you want to know more about anything. There'll be some more videos on other stuff as I get it picked up. I'll be going up there. It's about a 100-mile trip one way, and so I go about once a month or so and get a carload of stuff and bring it back. Anyway, so and if you haven't already subscribed and you're watching this video and you like videos like this, anything dealing with vintage electronics, then please subscribe, and that way you'll be able to know when my new videos come out and stuff. So anyway, thanks for all your comments and your suggestions, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and y'all have a good night. This happens to be Sunday, so I'll be uploading this later on tonight. So I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.